guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Mama Make You Up, a mummy of twins who loves to paint my face. So today I am bathing suit, dressed and ready to go. I'm going to do a video today on makeup that can withstand heat, poolside, that's kind of basically summer ready. So I did mention this in my Insta stories that I haven't necessarily tried and tested a bunch of different ways to prevent smudging, makeup from moving, getting the lines from our sunglasses, that kind of thing. However, I have watched lots of videos from amazing, well-established YouTubers who have. So I'm going to basically take some of their ideas and put it into a video and show you guys the products and the makeup look that I come up with. Please grab a margarita, virgin or otherwise, sunglasses, a good book, whatever you want. And let's bake together. Crazy summer poolside hair? Check. Since I moisturized and cleansed this morning, I'm just going to go in and hydrate my skin and make sure it's ready for my makeup. H2O skin drink from Pixi, and it is the Pure Hydration Gel. It's got the aloe vera and all that awesome stuff. So this is an idea that I thought I would roll with where I'm using more of a mattifying primer. Hypothetically, something like this versus going with a really dewy spray or a primer will help your makeup adhere to your face. For summer makeup, sometimes I go all out glow and basically use all products that make me glow, and at the end of the day I find that it looks like it's too much. So today I'm actually going to use this e.l.f. primer. I have no idea what exactly it's called. It's this yellow bottle from e.l.f. So we're just going to prime our face, and I believe this one is more of a mattifying primer. So I'm going to put that primarily also where I want to cover up my pores. I want to mention, of course, sunscreen. I was going to actually show you guys me putting sunscreen on my face in between my moisturizing and my primer, but I forgot to do that. So a note about sunscreen. Some of the face lotions that you may use, I use CeraVe from the drugstore, and it talks about having an SPF 30 on the front. One of the things that I have learned from a friend who does more research on this area is that so just make note that if you're using a moisturizer and you think, oh, that's enough to go out in the sun all day under my makeup, it's not. Next, we're going to head right into foundation. Well, some people say go ahead and use a glowing foundation and just mattify it and really get it to bake to your face by baking with setting powder. However, others say just go ahead and use a mattifying foundation so that it really adheres to your face from the get-go. Today I'm going to combine those ideas together. I'm going to go in with my Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation from Maybelline, and I'm going to add in just a few drops of my favorite foundation in general, the Infallible Pro Glow. The thing to note about foundation as we're applying it here, some of the different tips that I have heard are about actually, instead of using foundation, using like a more liquid type of concealer and just blending that out on their face. Alatoria, I could be butchering her name, does a beautiful video on festival summer makeup, and she just spot corrects and then tries to keep less product around this area where the sunglasses would be. So today I am going into with foundation because I don't have the concealer like she had in her video, but basically what we can do is just keep the foundation light, and we'll try some other tricks to keep those pesky sunglasses marks away. When I get close to my nose, I am going to keep the foundation a little bit lighter. I'm just using the excess from the periphery of my face, and I'm just tapping it and I'm letting my freckles just show through. Since hypothetically we will be wearing really big floppy hats at the pool or out in the summer, just taking the excess and again letting my freckles shine through on the top part of my head here. When you do get lines from sunglasses and hats and things like that, I think one of the tricks could be making sure that you don't necessarily put a lot of setting powder. The thing is, it could go either way. You could put tons of setting powder in the area that you think you'll get the creasing and the lines from sunglasses and hats. Another idea could be to actually not put setting powder, because once you put setting powder, you crease and you try to correct it, let's say with your finger or beauty blender, it goes to crap. So if you don't set it with setting powder, hypothetically, it would move around easier with your finger. in the run of a day if you wanted to dab your skin. So you can try both ways and see what works for you. We're going to move on to concealer. An awesome video that I saw by Crystal Clear Makeup. She used basically a concealer, talked about for glasses using a concealer that stays put, and she used the Tarte Shape Tape. If you want something that's really nice and full coverage and basically sets itself. That is one idea for getting something that will really stay put on your face. I'm actually going to go in with a different concealer simply because my Fair Neutral in this Shape Tape is ghost-like on my face, especially in the summer. So instead, I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild concealer. And again, one of the tricks we are going to do, because again, this is summer makeup, where the more we have, the more opportunity there is for a mess to happen. I want to conceal just under my eyes, and again, keep the product away from here where the sunglasses are going to be, and keep the product away from really high points where a hat could be sitting on my face. So we are just going to correct the purple that most of us have on the inside of our eyes, and we're just going to bring that down a little bit. Go around here, and we can do my chin. And in terms of the nose, just lightly so that we're evening out the face, and a little bit up here. All of this, of course, you can try out and test and see how Instagram ready you want to be poolside. This may be too much makeup for poolside. I personally just go no makeup poolside, but it depends. And again, keeping the product just by the eyes. And I'm not dragging that way down where my sunglasses are going to sit. So the next step that I'm going to do is bronze up my face, my Soleil Tan de Chanel. That is my really creepy way of saying it. I use regularly in the summer and winter. Next, we're going to go on to highlight though. And what I'm going to do to give that really wet effect for a highlight today is use these e.l.f. highlighting drops. I really like these. And we are just going to bounce that on the high points. Next, what I'm going to do is go in and set my under eye. I wanted to get all the creams done and then go in and put the setting powder very distinctly and purposefully, only in certain places. Some people, again, it just depends on if you have an oily T-zone, if you tend to break up a lot in your cheeks, if you need to go ahead and use lots of setting powder to make sure that something stays, go ahead and try it. Really, a lot of these videos that people make, you have to give it a try and see if those ideas work for you. And set where I put concealer. And like I mentioned, I'm actually going to leave my nose free of a lot of setting powder because I want to be able to just dab out the sunglasses lines later on if they are an issue. So I'm going in with a little bit of setting powder and distinctly going right under my eye. Move on around my nose where I put concealer on the sides. And this is an area a lot of us tend to break up, so really pack on, if you are cool with that, pack on the setting powder here. We are going to go in and I'm just going to use an overall face powder. Reserve your cabana, because with all these cream products, we need them to melt into the skin to some extent. And then we can add more highlight, more bronzer if we think we really need it. And again, I'm going to stay away from the area around my nose where I would have my sunglasses. This gives a slight shine to the skin. Just do a little bit of baked bronzer. So baked bronzer usually gives you a nice little shine rather than being a really mattifying bronzer. So this one is quite light, but I really like just adding that almost like a blush topper on my cheeks to give me that sun-kissed look. This is the Vivid Baked Bronzer, Makeup Revolution, and it is called Golden Days. Next, we are going to go on to eyebrows. Now, a few little tips on how you can use setting powder to keep things in place and to keep things from smudging in the summer. One of her tips was to actually, before you go do your eyebrows, you put setting powder over top of them. And this, I don't know if you've noticed this, I certainly have. When I go in, for instance, with my Anastasia Beverly eyebrow pencil, even though it's not super creamy necessarily, it slides all over the place because of the foundation underneath my brows. But a setting powder, as we know, helps provide a bit more of a gritty surface and helps to prevent all that sliding around. For a summer look, I'm not going to spend all day on this. I'm using Gimme Brow by Benefit, a really dried out bottle that has hair in it. And I'm gonna brush through. And if I'm feeling really high maintenance, I may just offer a bit of a point to the ends of my brows. My brow wiz, and I'm just going to comb through a little bit, just to give a bit of shape. For eyes, the Becca and Jaclyn Hill palette, and this is the one with the 3 bronzers or the 3 blushes and the highlight, and I'm going to go in with the blush color right here in the middle. I use it as an eyeshadow, and this is where I use a really fluffy brush that's just going to diffuse the color all over my lid. We're not going for anything super precise. What is it? So any bronzer, honestly, I switch between this one and my Baked and my Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. I use those two on my eyes quite regularly, and I've even used my Hoola bronzer. So any bronzer that you have can function perfectly as an eyeshadow, just to give you some color and some depth to your eye. This color below my eye. For my lid, I'm going to go in with Champagne Pop in this palette. And we're just going to dab that. See how pretty that is? So you can even add MAC Fix Plus if you want it to go up a notch. Blend out the edges here a little bit. If you want to open up your eyes a little bit, you can go ahead and line your waterline. Use my NYX Wonder Pencil in Light. Move on to mascara, and I'm actually going to try my first time ever using the Voluminous Lash Paradise that I have heard everywhere. Blackest brown. I really wanted a brown mascara. Okay, this stuff is awesome. It's really hard to work with because the wand is so ginormous and you can make an absolute mess on your face, but it's amazing. The little tip I have in terms of making sure that your mascara stays put, because as we know, it loves to bleed along the lower lash line and potentially along your lid as well. Setting powder on a brush and just dusting it on the ends of your mascara, on the bottom particularly. Just to add a little bit to my inner corner to brighten up the inner corner of my eyes, I am now going to go in with the Makeup Revolution, the Vivid Baked Highlighting Powder in Radiant Lights. Now, setting spray. So we don't have a ton of powder, so MAC Fix Plus does absolutely help your makeup melt into your face. If you have a lot of powder on, if it's like a glam for a wedding or a night out, MAC Fix Plus melts the powder into your face. One of the things that I did learn though from another video is that it actually isn't technically a setting powder. It does wonders for making shadows for your eyes more intense and more metallic looking and melting powder to your face, but it's not necessarily a setting powder. So I have loved this Pixie Glow Mist. I use it both as a primer and as a setting spray. So we are going to really bring the shine by using this all over our face. The mister on this thing is amazing. Better than MAC Fix Plus. I love it 10 times more. Hey guys, I thought I'd pop back on here to show you what I'm looking like about 5 hours later. I've been at the splash park with my lovely children all afternoon, and so it's been definitely the closest to a poolside that I will get. I've noticed that the setting powder that I packed on around my nose has really helped things stay in place, and also the advantage of having minimal product in my sunglasses area. I have big, quite heavy sunglasses, and I'm not really noticing any lines from having them on for the past almost 2 hours outside in the lovely heat of Alberta. I am looking shiny, which I'm okay with, but overall I think this makeup lasted pretty darn well. All right, guys, that wraps us up for today. If you have tips and ideas that have worked for you, please comment down below and come on over to my Instagram account where I am much more active than YouTube. I will link that down below here. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and colorful day. We'll see you in my next video. Bye.